You're about to be hearing his name a lot more as Habs prospect Aatos Koivu was lighting it up in the World Junior Summer Showcase, scoring 2 goals in his most recent game, playing top line for Team Finland. We have to dive into his recent performance and the outlook for him as a Habs prospect as he tries to continue his legacy, but it's not just that. We have Laine and Demidov and Patrik Laine working together on one-timers as they are hinting towards a very, very interesting and special connection, either on the power play or maybe even not. We got to dive into that, and another crazy proposal to bring in a certain former Hab back to the team. All that coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. But guys, first thing we got to say is we are less than 100 subscribers away from 22,000. If you guys are enjoying the daily content all this offseason, even when there's not much on the go, we're here to keep you up to date on all the latest stuff Montreal Canadiens. If that sounds good to you, hit the free button below. We're so close. Thank you so much for watching. Jesse, let's start here. Now, this I'll link this down below. It's from the Hockey Writers, and they're talking about different destinations for Max Pacioretty. I didn't want to spoil it, but if you read through that, you saw it there. And the first team they named was the Montreal Canadiens. You can go check this out down below. They say you can never go home again, but the Canadiens, after surprisingly making the postseason, are looking to add some experience to the young core. Now they say, look, he's probably going to be a part-time player, and the Habs, he's someone who can be in the lineup most of the time. Look, Jesse, I wanted to hear what the fans have to say about this, because honestly, Montreal is one of the last teams I would think about for Max Pacioretty. Like, if you're looking to add his kind of talent, you're probably one of these teams that's out on the brink of a cup trying to add a minimum contract. Not only do I not see a fit with this roster at all, I don't see a fit with the culture, the way he left, this kind of stuff. I don't know. I think it's funny that even some writers still suggest that Max Pacioretty could come back to Montreal. I don't think there's any world. What do you think?
Even though it hasn't been like that long ago, Josh, like it really feels like a whole lifetime ago. Really, it's crazy to think like how quickly things have changed for the Montreal Canadiens. It's really kind of like a new team. It's a new leader, and I think it's important that the Habs continue that momentum of like a rebuild really well done, and continue to kind of turn that page and really keep that momentum going in the right direction. Of course, Max Pacioretty was good when he played in the playoffs. We're not saying that like he can't play at all, but we know for the Montreal Canadiens, we know what that next wave really entails as we're looking to kind of get in the playoffs year in, year out. And we're going to need all hands on deck. And unfortunately, like that 37 games that Pacioretty played last year just isn't going to cut it for us at this point. That being said, it's like he was a big part, in somehow, getting Suzuki over here and the rebuild. And it's hard to think that the rebuild is going as well as it does without that cornerstone that I think is Nick Suzuki really in all of this. So again, what is Kent Hughes going to do? Again, there's a couple of dominoes, I think, like left to fall that's really going to kind of change everything going forward. But I think Kent Hughes knows about like that kind of culture that we want for this organization going forward. And again, we're just really looking to the future right now.
Yeah, like there's a multitude of reasons, a myriad of reasons why this wouldn't happen, but wanted to bring it to you guys because, look, at the very least, I think it's given us a laugh. It'll lead to some great comments, so leave your thoughts down below. Don't see it happening. I don't want to say, hey, get out of here, Max, if we hate you. It's just I don't think it's gonna happen. But let's move on to something that is gonna happen this year, Jesse, and that's an Laine and Demidov to Patrik Laine connection. Whether it's in the middle of the lineup in that second line, or maybe on the power play, because they were working together and they were doing some one-timers. You can see here it's Laine making the passes to Patty Laine taking the shots there. Here is Laine making the passes and Demidov ripping some one-timers. Now you can definitely tell one of them has more experience at one-timers than the other. This comes from the Twitter page Patu Info, by the way. They've been tweeting out a lot of the videos from the Mesar complex, so go check them out on Twitter. I'll link the video down below as well. But Jesse, what do you make of this? Now Laine and Laine both practicing together, Demigod and Laine himself. Look, again, I think there is still a world where we could see them somehow on the power play together. I'm not totally sure what that unit would look like now. I think it'd be more if Montreal gets creative, because at this moment we're kind of saying, it's either Laine or Caufield. On that first one, I don't know. It's a bit weird, but regardless, I think it'd be crazy if we didn't see them share the ice a lot this season, and seeing them work together on this is really cool. And I just love to see, hey, maybe Laine's giving them some pointers.
For sure. Demidov absolutely learning from one of the best. Gets me really excited. Again, we know Demidov is amazing. If you add a little bit more of those one-timers, some of those tips and tricks from Patrik Laine, I think that'd be absolutely incredible. But further to that point, Josh, like it's actually been a couple times now where we're seeing that Patrik Laine and Laine and Demidov, they're the ones showing up the first. There's been lots of people like Habs practicing in the offseason, even some players from some other teams. Not so much they're loving the Habs these days, kind of sneaking in, coming into the practice as well. But a couple times here where we're seeing them at Mesar before everybody else. And again, I love that they're spreading the love. Again, like Demidov is helping to set up Laine. Laine is helping to set up Demidov with some very nice saucy passes there. I think Laine, thing about him is his passing ability might be kind of underrated when we're looking at some of this. But again, Demidov, he's looking to step into a lot of those shots. He's looking great, but you have to feel is Demidov's love of the game just reinvigorating Laine? Because that would absolutely be a dream situation. We remember Patrick Laine lost the love of the game not long ago, when you come over to Team Montreal and there's so much positivity making the playoffs, and then you got guys like Hutson and Demidov just going to the ice all the time. You have to feel it's a perfect situation, and we're seeing the proof in the pudding. They're getting Laine. We're hearing Patrick Laine's dragging Demidov out to practice. It's going so good these days. So I mean, that's when you have a great situation there. And again, Josh, it's just getting me excited for a healthy Patrick Laine, for this year. What can he do starting the season off without some sort of horrific injury that happened? We are just hoping and praying, and let's be real, that's not going to happen again this year. We're going to see Patrick Laine starting off healthy from the beginning. And again, them playing together is exciting, but I just, we're partial to Slafkovsky here on the channel. Again, I can't help but thinking a healthy year of Laine as well as Demidov, not only they going to play well, but I feel how they affect other players on the lineup, a Bolduc as well. That's what also gets really exciting, is they kind of drag these other players into the fight with them.
Yep, 100%. And now, again, the momentum feels high right now, and it's the off season. It almost feels weird to say, but again, seeing all these guys on the ice together, for the Nick Suzuki wedding reception, all this kind of stuff, they're out there practicing together every single day. Laine is now the first one on the ice. We were talking about how we couldn't get Hutson off the ice. He's been doing a bunch of other stuff this offseason with Bauer and coaching and all this stuff. But now it's Laine out there with Ivan, and these guys are just one after the other. And hey, if that friendship continues to grow, you can never know. Maybe Laine will stay, and maybe Demidov will stay. There's so many other implications for this, but you're absolutely right. Having a fully healthy season, keeping this momentum now and running it into the start of next season, I think is going to be huge for this team. And leave your thoughts on this down below. Where do you see these guys playing together most? Do you see them starting the season on a line together? Do you see Demidov and Laine both being on the same power play unit? There's questions. Who'd be bumped off if that was the case? Would it be Slav? Would it be Caufield? So I don't know. It's hard to say, but leave your thoughts down below. But the final thing, Jesse, and I'm really excited to talk about this because, look, we did some talk about LJ Mooney yesterday. Check out our stream yesterday, the VOD of the stream, to check out some of the talk about LJ Mooney, because he has been lighting the world on fire. Yeah. But that's not for today's subject. This summer showcase right now for the World Juniors coming up is unbelievable. As we're recording this video, by the way, it's Team Canada Red versus Team Canada White. There's a lot more stuff coming, but the guy we want to talk about right now is Aatos Koivu. And Aatos Koivu there, top line for Finland in this first little game there, and boy, did he ever not disappoint there with Heikki Ruohonen and Roope Vesterainen. And he didn't have the best D+1 year. Look, there's no doubt about it, right? 31 games in the Liga, only 1 goal, 8 points as a center, right? As a forward. But he's still 19 years old. He still needs to bulk up a bit, mature, get into his body a bit better. But you watch him in this, he just looks amazing. He looks like a threat, setting up for that line a one-timer, firing it home the first try. This time stepping into it, ripping a wrister a little bit low. But Aatos Koivu, Jesse, again, it seems to be a difference maker. And there's a lot of people who are very complimentary of his game. And you never know, right? This could very well be the launching pad to show at this summer showcase how good you are, to go into the World Juniors next year, be an impact player. And that can completely change your trajectory. Again, reminder, yes, it wasn't a great statistical season, but he is underweight. He is about only average height for a guy who plays his position, and he's a 19-year-old who was playing in the Liga, right? He just turned 19, mind you, on June 22nd. He was 18 most of this last year. I still have very high hopes for Aatos Koivu. Do I think he's going to be an NHL star or anything? No, he's a former third-round pick, but I think we're going to start hearing his name a lot more, Jesse, and I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, for sure. He's making a very good audition right now for Team Finland going into the World Juniors. It would be absolutely incredible for him to make the team. Again, 2 goals scored in this game and 2 beauties, both in that same spot. This guy loves the power play and he loves to let it rip. The big thing is he's got a very quick release. And for me, Josh, he's doing exactly what we expected him to do. For the Habs brass, he's showing a lot of that signs. For those later round pickups, they're looking where you got the high upside. And I think important when we're looking at last year, there was a little bit of some health issues there, which in the background, I think might have played a factor. I think right now we're really seeing the true Aatos Koivu and what he is really capable of. Like, of course, LJ Mooney has been all over the news, like recently, rightfully so, but I loved how these two prospects going head to head here and both of them standing out for their teams. Again, being some of the best players on either side, again, are Habs prospects, again, showing just in this, very recently for drafting this past year with Mooney and then just very recently with Koivu, how we just seem to keep finding some gems year after year. And Josh, it's starting to become like, not such a coincidence anymore, but really, that the Habs drafting team is doing their due diligence because, like, Koivu is doing what he can really to stand out. And for sure, he's got a little bit of a longer development curve to kind of go over here. But I just love that he wants the puck. That's the big thing is you can tell in the offensive zone, he wants to get it. He's not afraid to shoot at whatsoever. And I think if he just kind of keeps leaning into what he does the best, which is let it rip, I think that, their upside could definitely be there for Aatos Koivu.
And the thing is, too, like we talked about before the show, there's a handful of Habs picks, so you're like, this guy's meant to be a Hab. And, Michael Hage comes to mind, right, especially with the story behind him. But, like, Fleury and Xhekaj to some extent as well after Arber Xhekaj's story. But, like, when it comes to Koivu, it's like, just the name alone makes you think Montreal Canadiens. Now, maybe some people would say Minnesota Wild, both of them, fair enough, the brothers. But, like, whoever says Anaheim Ducks is lying to you. Columbus Blue Jackets from Eco? Anyway, but Aatos Koivu, drafted by the Habs, his father, Saku, the longtime captain, it's like, it's a story that's meant to be, and you can tell he wants it. Not only does he want the puck, he wants to make the NHL, and he was talking about at the end of this clip here, like, what he ends up saying at the end in the video clip we took is like, oh man, would that ever be, like, the greatest pleasure? Something along those lines to actually play for the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, like, just imagine, right? And that's what I'm trying to imagine. Again, is the likelihood, like, way up here always going to be a stud? We don't know yet, but his development curve so far is hard to tell. This is very encouraging, though, and I think we're going to start hearing his name a bit more this year as he starts to set himself apart. Look out for the World Juniors. Look out for his scoring this year, and let us know your thoughts on Aatos Koivu down below. We'd love to hear from you, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest, and if you enjoyed, and if you like shirtless Patrick Laine, oh, sorry, that looks like a censor. Well, sort of is, I suppose. And you want to help us hit 22,000 subscribers, hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you all in the next one.